the beautiful Abu Baido is here. Benis, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I love your hair. The way you, Charlie.
Thank
very
you.
romantic.
Oh.
For the morning. The romance.
Oh, are you serious? What was romantic about my hair on the side of my chest? Hey, are you serious?
All right. So now let's look at some of the stories we have. We know what is dominating currently.
Exactly, and this story, I mean, I was embarrassed by this when the news broke.
One of them is a regular on the show. It comes here sporadically.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? Well, 3 MPs in trouble.
Is it embarrassing?
It is embarrassing.
It happens to ordinary citizens.
No, that's the point. But you're an honourable member of parliament, so you're not expected to do what ordinary citizens do.
We're human beings in the first place.
No, come on. I mean, they're expected to set. In
other words, set slack. Let's cut them some slack. The British. Sometimes they come here and take our gold and all this.
I can't believe you're saying this.
I'm telling you that, but that's my opinion.
Well, it's okay, it's fine. You're entitled to it. But that's what that front page of the Daily Graphic has. 3 MPs in trouble over visa racketeering. Speaker to investigate. And that story is on page 3 of the newspaper. Also on the front page, President Akufo-Addo calls bluff of illegal miners. And President appoints 212 MMDCEs. It comes along with a photo of Simon Kweku Tete, who is for Lower Manya Krobo, and Yao Owusu-Addo for Kwewu West. Also, mushrooming law schools threat to democracy, and that's according to the Chief Justice. Really interesting stories here on the front page. So for those of you who may not know this particular story about 3 MPs in trouble,
do you know any of them? Have you cited any of them before?
No, I haven't. Okay. I haven't. But this says, the quick read says, some MPs of Parliament engaged in visa fraud have been banned for 10 years by the British High Commission, and the Speaker of Parliament has hinted of sanctioning them. Another issue that came up in this developing story has to do with diplomatic passports and the fact that some of them still hold those passports when they leave office.
Yes.
And they travel with these passports and they carry people along. In fact, if you read the letter from the British High Commission, they're actually suspecting that one of the MPs carried a woman he said to be his wife, but they suspect that the woman could not be his wife because he has still not produced documents to substantiate
and even so, there's another one who said one was his wife in one travel, and then the next wife was another one in the next travel. Yeah.
So it's a bit complicated, and that's why I'm saying it gets embarrassing because, you know, there are issues of honesty in there, you know, and you wouldn't expect. And they travel and they never come back. It's embarrassing for me, for our parliament to be facing this.
They should have just done the right thing. When you know you traveled with your wife and your something, bring them back.
Bring them back, you know. You don't allow them to stay. And there's another thing too, is that they cannot even find them in the UK. They don't know their whereabouts, you know. And these people are quite strict on some of these things. So we'll be bringing you updates on this, but that's it in the Daily Graphic. The MPs, there's one former MP, is it?
Yes, there's one former MP.
About three still current MPs in Parliament. But let's do this. President Akufo-Addo calls bluff of illegal miners on page 24 and 41. And you know that our colleague Maxwell Agbagba went with the government delegation to some mining areas. And we actually played this visual of some of the men threatening not to vote for President Akufo-Addo or the NPP in the next elections because...
And Latif too has been bringing a couple of those stories.
Exactly. But the president says, well...
His agenda is unwavering.
Yes. He says, look, you can decide to vote or not. I'm still going to clamp down on illegal mining.
But I think we have to put what the president said in perspective. What he said was to make them see reason and say that it's not about a matter of voting me into office or retaining the party or not into office. It's about whether the mining activity being done illegally, Galamsey, is having an effect on the environment or not. And then he cited certain water bodies, especially in the Achem areas, which hitherto used to be clean, now are not clean. And I think that the president is right on that course.
Well, just a quote from him. He says, what I've come to do is to take steps that will further the development of the country, and that is what matters to me. So that's President Akufo-Addo saying, well, bent on solving this problem, and I'm going to do it no matter the threats that you hurl at me. And also about this thing that's dominated social media, the radio, TVs, violence that has erupted over President Akufo-Addo's nomination of 212 MMDCs. And yesterday we went to Zebila because even before the list was out, some people there were protesting. They didn't want one Madam Victoria. They had hints that she was going to be appointed the district chief executive of the area, and they were unhappy about it. We spoke to our colleague Albert Sori over there. The youth in the area vandalized the party office, the assembly, the year office, and all those things. Then yesterday, the list came out, and in some 7 other districts, we saw violent protests. People even went as far as burning the billboards of the president. So
they did?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how bad it's gotten. So we'll be discussing this on the show. Back page of the Daily Graphic: Kotoko settled for draw. Aduana Stars Kotoko played a game yesterday and was a 1-1 at the end. And center spread: Ministry of Food and Agriculture moves to control fall army worm invasion on crops, and Ghana partakes in 2017 Exim USA conference. And accountants urged to think ahead of time. Let's do this last one, Roland, then you can bring us what's on the front page of another paper. On page 16, it's about the Chief Justice saying something. Mushrooming law schools threat to democracy, and that's what she's saying. The proliferation of law schools without adherence to requisite standards is a threat to legal education and the country's democracy, the Chief Justice, Mrs. Justice Georgina Theodora Wood, has said. Now, the paper is quoting her. She says some of these schools essentially do not have full-time faculties, are lacking in library facilities, and simply do not have the wherewithal to run a good law program. And she made this statement during a ceremony in Accra yesterday, at which 46 new lawyers were called to the bar. Well, Roland, we've had this over and over again. It's a mad rush to study law in this country. I don't know where it's coming from, but just a lot of young people speak to them, say, oh, I'm going to read law, you know. And so the Chief Justice is just saying, if we want to do it, let's do it the right way. Let's have the right schools, have the right faculties and right facilities to run law programs. So that's from the Chief Justice. Roland, what you have?
I have on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, visa fraud rocks Parliament. The story is on page 16. It's been said over and over again, so I guess we have to move on to the next. President nominates 212 MDCs, and then we will stop Ghana and say no matter what the presidency is being quoted as saying. Riot at Zebela, Savalugun and Tonva DC nominations. And those stories are on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. On the back page, though, it's about Kotoko surviving the Aduana scare, and then Bolga All-Stars hold hearts in 6-goal thriller. And so it was a draw, I believe, between Bolga All-Stars and all that. And Aduana also drawing. Against Kotoko. So Kotoko is in 5th place, and Haas is in the 4th place. But the story, there's a story very tragic and sad. It's on page 2 of the paper, The Ghanaian Times. And this story is about a man who severed the head and limbs or legs of his son, his 6-year-old son. I can imagine having 2 male boys, two male children, just murdering your children or one of them because of
and he's actually holding his head.
No, this one was when the police were there. So
yeah, but that's what I mean.
They made him take it for. And it says a 30-year-old farmer of the Adidase community near Manswa Menfi in the Menfi West District of the Western Region has been arrested by the police for the murder of a 6-year-old son. You look at the boy, very handsome boy, and Osman severed severed the head and left leg of his son and hid them in the bush, according to the Ghanaian Times. But the wife of the suspect, a farmer, who became alarmed and suspicious about the husband's activities, reported the matter to members of the community, who then began a search for the boy and succeeded in arresting Osman, who confessed to the crime at the Mansour Menfi police station. He's currently in custody at the Asanko Police Command. Asankregua, know that very well. We call it Asanko. Very popular area. Okay. It's very sad.
All right, let's do the Daily Guide now. Front page, Nana names 212 DCEs, 4 MPs busted for visa fraud, and government pickup van sold for 1,000 Ghana cedi. Now, this came up during a PAC sitting yesterday when some officials of the Agric Ministry appeared, and an auctioneer who is said not to have followed the right process in auctioning some vehicles of the ministry, and he was even threatened of perjury because the committee suspected that he was not being honest with some of the answers that he gave. So, well, I can't imagine, Roland, government pickup van sold for 1,000 Ghana cedis. And some of these vehicles were sold to, you know, workers in the ministry. And 1,000 Ghana cedis. Who sells a pickup for 1,000 Ghana cedis? I mean, I don't get it. Is it, when you're auctioning a vehicle, Roland, is it necessarily meant to beat the price down so low? I mean, maybe we have to speak to an auctioneer to find out what it really means to auction property and why they do that. But I think this is quite ridiculous to sell a vehicle for 1,000 Ghana cedi. Anyway, the second page of the Daily Guide captures that story. Burn billboards in Savalugu. And at Savalugu in the northern region, angry supporters of the New Patriotic Party vandalized party billboards and structures in the municipality over the nomination of Hajia Aishatu as the municipal chief executive. Well, supporters numbering over 200 took to the streets of Savalugu demonstrating their displeasure about the president's nomination. Also, in this paper, GRA rejects Ibrahim Mohammed's 46 dart checks. That story is still on, and we know that the Yoko is still on this particular matter. Center spread of the Daily Guide. Golden Movie Awards opens entries for 2017 edition, and Adjoa P promises positive change. She's a veteran Ghanaian actress. And Uru unveils tickets and TNT service. That's a new online transportation service. And SP Sapon goes live today. Okay, they are holding, Media XL is holding a press conference at the Alisa Hotel to officially unveil the forthcoming SP Kofi Sapon Live in Concert Festival slated for May 28. So for all of you entertainment lovers, there you go. And some sports. Adriana Stretch Kotoko. Nana endorses GNPC, Ghana's fastest human. And so while we are hearing about some reduction in terms of financial support for the Black Stars, GNPC is organizing Ghana's fastest human initiative. And so the president was there and he endorses that. And let me just bring you some extracts of that story. President Akufo-Addo has pledged government's unflinching support for the GNPC Ghana Fastest Human Initiative. He has, as a result, promised 8 personal autographed trophies for this year's final, scheduled for Kumasi on September 16, launching the 4th of the 7-year athletics initiative on Tuesday at the Adidas House in Accra. He shared the same sentiment with CEO and founder of Ghana Fastest Human, Rex Probe, that it was high time Ghana bounced back as a key player in athletics. So they hope that this will improve.
Were you very sporty while in school? The way your legs are. What do you do? You play table tennis?
No, I didn't play table tennis. I was part of the gymnastics team.
You?
Yes.
In Ghana?
Yes.
Gymnastics?
Not in Ghana.
Ghana
in my
International
school.
Which school?
Roland.
Because they don't have gymnastics.
Akosombo International School.
Ah, it's true.
And I played
That's
football.
That's why Akosombo there when you said
and I did a bit of track. I was
track
part of my house 4x100 relay team. Then I wasn't like this, you know. I was
No,
very...
so you look great.
I know, but I was
I can imagine you are running like this.
No,
This sounds
no,
to be good.
no.
Oh, it's true. We'll just line up. We'll watch you. You will run.
Interesting, Roland. There are more papers, please.
More papers. Okay, which one? I'll take the Daily Dispatch newspaper. We have more trouble for 4 visa fraud MPs. They will lose diplomatic passports. And we know this, we flogged this issue. Yeah. Just one of them has been a regular on the show, comes in sporadically, and I don't want to mention him. Good morning to you. I know that this is a difficult time for you, and we empathize with you. We hope that you pull through. We all face challenges in life. 4 MPs busted. Oh, Daily Dispatch. So you say that, say it again. 4 MPs busted for visa fraud by UK government. Oh, they will lose diplomatic passport. Oh. The story is the Daily Dispatch newspaper. President's choice of 212 MMDCs available. The whole list printed. Let me see my area. That's Tema. Greater Accra. Okay. I think Tema Metropolitan. Felix Mensala. Okay. And then the next area I'm concerned about is Ashaman. Albert Boachi Ochre. Okay. We'll visit the 2 of them. We'll see how we can help develop the district and the metropolitan area. Charlie?
All right, quickly, let's do the BNFT. Executive Women Network celebrates first year anniversary. EW and celebrates all pioneer, current and upcoming Ghanaian female leaders. So President Akufo-Addo and members of the Executive Women Network there on the front page of the BNFT. IFS Lord's bold revenue earmarking move by this government in Ghana, losing billions through illicit financial flows. And that's according to ISODEC, an equity savings and loans to be officially launched today, over emphasis on basic education, breeding semi-literacy. That's interesting. That's from Professor Goski Alabi. All right, so let's do IFS lauding the bold revenue earmarking move, and the Institute for Fiscal Studies has praised government's boldness in capping transfers to some key statutory funds following the think tank's earlier calls for a review of Ghana's earmarking arrangement as a means of creating fiscal space for government to execute some of its programs and policies. Well, the Institute has, however, cautioned government to tread cautiously on how it manages the newly created fiscal space. There's more in the BNFT, and overemphasis on basic education. The country has placed too much emphasis on the lower levels of education at the expense of higher or tertiary education, which has led to the production of a semi-illiterate and continuous population. Professor Goski Alabi, Dean of the Center for International Education and Collaboration at the University of Professional Studies.
It's because rather the basic is... Are you sure that's what she said?
Yes.
I think everybody agrees that the basic one rather is where we need to strengthen and putting a lot more of our resources. In the tertiary levels, they're very good.
No, what she's saying is that we focus so much, we put in
because
time,
the resources...
Yes, listen, she said at the expense of higher education.
Is it true?
Well, she is in the industry and I'm sure she's done her studies, but I think what she may be advocating for is a balance. So while you help the basic levels, also support the tertiary levels, so when people get to that level, they have something, you know, even though the foundation is good, they also have good material to put up a better structure. You know, I think that's what she's basically saying.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So back
well
page,
explained.
Exim Bank Board Chair, CEO attend 2017 Exim USA Annual Conference, and John Benjamin Lord's Guba Awards. Oh, John Benjamin. He's leaving later this year, you know.
I think he should leave.
Why should he leave?
Less social media too much. Cause confusion. Now, we have the business finder. A great need for clear information to guide prospective investors. I believe Kenneth Thompson, the CEO of Dayless Finance, is trying to put in some word on the debate about what the clear perspective is for the policy on planting for food and jobs. And we know that it's going to create 750,000 jobs. I mean, that's what the estimates are on the paper. but we also need to have a certain clear structure in terms of how it's going to be. What do we do with the end products? How do we put them into semi or processed foods or perhaps products? What do we do with them? Which entities or factories will be doing that, or the value chain? So it's something that I believe that the finance people need to think about and ask great questions, and it's in the right order. Okay, and then we have banks write off only 175 million Ghana cedis at
only
Tesla.
175 million Ghana
cedis.
Roland. Anyway, let's get on to the online portals. We'll start with myjoyonline.com, and I'm sure at myjoyonline.com we'll be capturing a lot of the trending stories about in some communities as a result of the declaration or nomination of some MMDCEs, and also we may be seeing something about the visa fraud. All right, so there we have it. Okay, well, we'll start with ctfmonline.com. Akufo-Addo's MMDCE nominees have been received well, and that's according to the minister, Hajia Alima. All right. Tolon Regent rejects DCE nominee, Hajia Amama Shaibu. So it's not only supporters of the party. Some traditional leaders are also raising red flags over President Akufo-Addo's nomination of MMDCs. Fraudulent and Mary has no expertise in power projects. That's according to Philip Addison. And deadline for 26,000 ghost workers extended by 3 days. All right. So this has something to do with the SNIT biometric registration. And so 3 days. People have 3 more days to be able to get them to get their names or get registered with SNIT biometric project. Okay, planting for food and jobs. Figures to note as project takes off. Okay, so that's some infographics from CTFM Online. Okay, let's get onto the Africa page of BBC. South Africa's nuclear deals unlawful. Oh, a court annuls initial agreement reached with Russia, the US, and South Korea to build nuclear plants in South Africa. You know, sometimes it gets scary when you hear all these nuclear projects and the threat by North Korea that, you know, if Donald Trump does, they could extinguish the whole of the US. You know, it gets a bit scary because, I mean, I was laying on my bed while I was reading that particular story, and I thought to myself, well, this is scary because, like, as I'm sitting here, anything could just, you know, go off in a moment and we are all gone. You know, but well, that's what you do to build your military base, you know, apart from the men and the intelligence. Union officials reported that yesterday. Africa highlights Buhari not targeting ex-president Ebola. Human lived more recently remains found in South Africa could be from 2.
Okay. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you sports. Please know that you're still watching the AM show right here on this channel. Do stay on.